Hey, how are we all? So, really important bit of service for the Suzuki today. You're meant to do the brake lines once every 4 years. So I haven't had the bike for 4 years, but it's well over 4 years old and these look like original lines. So even though these lines look pretty good on this bike, I don't want to mess around with brakes. If it says replace them, replace them. So, ordered myself some new lines, gonna get them on. Also, feel as though my front brake pad might be nearing its end. So I think I need a new one of those as well. Have some new lines, have some new pads. Let's get it on there. So front pads, got to pull off the brake caliper. Once it's free, you got to pull out this little pin in here. Now this will let you remove the rod and free the pads. Don't lose the little guy, really important. Alright, now let's free this rod. And pull out these old, very worn out front brake pads. Check them out compared to the new ones. Definitely time to replace. Now I am opening up the reservoir on the top. Careful not to have it overflow or spill onto the bike. This stuff will melt your paint off. We're doing this so we can retract the pistons in here and fit in the new pads. I'm using a quick grip. You can use whatever you want to get these back in there. Definitely a lot easier with that reservoir cap off though. Alright, now there should be enough room to slide in the new brake pads. Same order they came out. So I'm using organic pads. There's heaps of different sorts. Metallic, ceramic, whatever. They all do different things. Jump online, do a bit of research, find out which is right for you. General rule, around town, these organic ones seem to work quite well. They're not so squeaky. They don't last as long though, and they're not as ideal for high performance stuff. Suzuki tells us how tight we need to have these. When you're messing with your brakes, it's good to beat a spec. Alright, time for some new lines. With some braided lines, some fluid, something to catch some brake fluid in, and the trusty socket set. So we need to get at this little connector, put our spanner on here, and a bit of rubber tubing. Doing this so we can drain it out. So you undo this little nut, give your brakes a bit of a squeeze, and we'll slowly drain out that old brake fluid. Alright, time to get off those old lines. Loosen up the bolt. Now, put something under there. You're going to dribble some brake fluid, and like I said, this stuff melts paint and destroys lives, so try not to get it everywhere. I'm removing this little rubber mount thing because it will come in handy later for putting the new lines on there and preventing any rubbing against metal things. Got 2 crush washers, one either side. Thread your line back up through the bike. This is what I saved the little rubber protector for. Get it all clipped in there, and this will stop it from flapping around and rubbing on things that it shouldn't rub on. Now time to get these secured again. Again, Suzuki provides some spec on how tight they should be. I'm going to start adding some fluid back in there. You have to bleed your brakes properly. This is really important. If you're not confident in doing this part, get a professional to do it, because you don't want to mess around with your brakes if you're not feeling confident. The way I did this was I was pumping the fluid through, making sure to keep it topped up. Once I started getting it through the line, I would close off the bleed point, put some pressure on and release. I just kept doing this until I felt good about there being absolutely no air bubbles in the line. You really do not want any air bubbles in your line. Otherwise your brakes are going to be horrible or not work at all. And the back is a pretty similar process to the front. Your reservoir is hidden underneath your seat, and your connection for your lines is on your master cylinder, which is right near the foot pedal. Thanks so much for watching. I think I've spent way too much time in the yard lately. Time to get out and about. My favorite bike coffee spot, Ellis Speed, is doing some sort of garagey sale thing, getting rid of a whole lot of their old stuff. So may go check that out and find any sort of excuse to take this bike out for a ride somewhere. See you guys then.